see some people joining, so tell them to share as they pop up. I'm trying to think of where it's going to come up. I think people will come up in here, and I'm gonna go ahead and share it real quick.
Okay.
But right now, as people will come back and watch, you can talk to them because people will watch it later and they'll see it. So.
I can go in now. Okay, Chip Liner is number 1. Wow. Welcome, Chip.
Where's Chip?
I'm on the opposite side of the state from you, man. So aren't you surprised? I have no idea where Michael is. He was going to come down and join me, but he got lost somewhere, I don't know. Anyway, Edward, how are you, Eddie Cates? I hope you're ready for a good evening. Chip Liner's number 1, he says. Eddie Cates says he's number 1. Michael thinks he's number 1 too. Believe it or not, I am in sunshiny Florida. It's overcast. I have on a long sleeve shirt, but hey, it's great. Hey Shannon, how are you? It's good to see you. Eddie, you are here and great. Donna, you're watching too, so all right. Good weather in Rossville, but who wants to be in Rossville, right? Hey, I'd rather be in Florida in the snow. Yes, Chip, we are watching from something Florida, I don't know where. Shannon? Because you are you. Oh, yes, that's right. I am me. I don't know who else to be. So, yeah. Hey, just went to Fudd Puckers tonight, and we ordered a meal, and literally before we could finish the words, the meal was on the table. We were eating it. Michael was running late, and but it was absolutely perfect. So,
You want to give them the topic tonight?
Okay, hey, the topic tonight. Something about judge not that you be not judged or something like that. Actually, Michael's going to do the judges, and he thinks he is really good at this.
Oh, man,
He's been rehearsing all day with me, and New Smyrna Beach, Chip. Okay, hey, now I know where you are. But we've been talking this week. I had nothing else to do driving down but talk. So Michael's come up with this thing about the judges of Israel and how they got called into being and the purpose they served and everything. So I hope that you learned some things tonight. He really couldn't teach me anything, but he's going to try. But I think you're going to enjoy it. So let's see if you can beat me on the answers and get all of them right. I'm going to step out of the picture now. Hey, Whitney, how are you? And it's time for Michael. So let's all give a big round of applause for here's Michael.
How do you like my warm-up guy? Did a good job. I actually have it up on your phone. Bill has a huge advantage because he's, for trivia tonight, he's actually live here with me. So he doesn't have to wait. As a matter of fact, you might even want to keep your thing muted because it'll throw you off because I'll be delayed to you. So Bill has a huge advantage if he feels like putting the answers in first tonight. And tonight, we're doing the judges, and part of the reason for that is I was talking with Bill the other day, and we just had our Supreme Court Justice Catherine. How's her full name? It's Ruth. It's Ginsburg. Bader Ginsburg, who passed away just the other day, and she was one of the Supreme Court justices, or one of the judges. So I guess you could say. So I thought, hey, well, let's go into the book of Judges and look at the judges in the Old Testament and do a little trivia with that. So Bill's kind of pulling up a chair here. He's my live studio audience here today. And all right, it's go time. It's a real audience. He's sitting out there. He might be heckling me. There may be some. By the way, I know most of you are always wondering what might be, if it gets boring here, if you guys are too boring, I've got lots of food here, lots of food. Look at this, a granola bar with chocolate chips, of course. If I decide to go healthy, I've got an apple. Got to hold up the cookies already. I have cookies. I've got raisins. And of course, I have sweet tea. Oh, I forgot to hold this up. I got another apple. A caramel apple pound cake, that is. Yeah, booyah. So, all right. The judges in the Old Testament. Please share this out on your Facebook page so other people can watch this. 10 questions, Old Testament judges, and question number 1. Question number 1. And you can just tell me what you think here. Did God give kings or did he give judges to the Israelites first? Did God give kings or did he give judges to the Israelites first? Question number 1, Old Testament judges. Did God give kings or did he give judges to the Israelites first? I won't embellish much on that because I don't want to mess up any of the other trivia questions, but what do you think? I think Bill probably has an opinion and probably the right answer on this. Did God give kings or judges to the Israelites first? He's being nice and letting some of you people respond first because I'm sure he knows all these answers. Chip says judges. And what do you guys think? Now, if you look chronologically in the Bible, it's Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, Deuteronomy, Joshua, Judges, Ruth, 1st and 2nd Samuel, 1st and 2nd Kings. So chronologically, Eddie says judges, Whitney says judges. Anybody else? And I know other people are probably answering, so I will go ahead and tell you. Question number 1, you are correct when you said judges. Did God give kings or judges to the Israelites first? He gave judges to the Israelites first. So question number 2, this is a true or false question. God raised up judges to pass judgment on the Israelites for turning to worship false gods. Is that true or false? God raised up judges to pass judgment on the Israelites for turning to worship false gods. Is that a true or false statement? Why did God raise up judges? True or false? Was it to pass judgment on the Israelites for turning to worship false gods? Is that a true statement or a false statement? Once again, while you're answering, be sure to hit that share button. Share this out so other people can watch it. And then when they go back and watch it, they can see the warm-up guy in the Tennessee orange shirt. I don't know if you can tell it was Tennessee orange. Eddie says true. True or false? God raised up judges to pass judgment on the Israelites for turning to worship false gods. Donna says true. Chip says false. Anybody else? Whitney says false. So we got two truths, 2 falses. Anybody else? God raised up judges to pass judgment on the Israelites for turning to worship false gods. Hello, David. Well, the correct answer is, and Bill, you can chime in if I don't get it covered here, the correct answer is actually false. God actually raised up judges to rescue the Israelites whenever they had turned to false gods. So that's where I kind of got tricky in the question there. They had turned to false gods, and God let their enemies come in and kind of take them over. If I'm saying this right, Bill, kind of come in and take over them and kind of put them in bondage, and then God would send a judge to rescue them, kind of a temporary leader, I guess you could say, to rescue them whenever they would turn, after they had turned to false gods, and maybe sometimes repenting, sometimes not, but God would send in a judge to rescue them. So it's a little bit of a trick question, but there you go. I probably would have said true on that one myself had I not been reading up on it. So question number 3. God raised up the judge Ehud, who killed the King Eglon of Moab. He killed him by stabbing him with a knife. Where did he stab him? On what part of his body did he stab him when he killed him? God raised up the judge Ehud, who killed the king Eglon, if I'm saying all that right, of Moab. He killed him by stabbing him with a knife. Where did he stab him? I have a feeling you may have to answer in on this one, Bill, to get these, because this one may be a kind of a hard one for people to remember. Hey, Mom. Mom just popped in. Catherine Prettyman is watching, which means my dad's probably watching with her. So hello, Mom and Dad. So God raised up the judge Ehud, who killed the king of Eglon. Whitney says, in a total guess, she said the heart. Chip says in his fat. Anybody else with an answer? Anybody else with an answer? By the way, hit the share button on this. We'd like other people to watch this later on. So God raised up the judge Ehud, who killed King Eglon of Moab. he killed him by stabbing him with a knife. Where did he stab him? Well, the answer is, Bill, what do you think the answer? You can ask verbally if you want. Eddie says in the chest. What do you think?
I think Eddie's right.
You think Eddie's right in the chest? Okay. No, well, Eddie's wrong. No, Eddie's not right. It was in the stomach or in the gut. He stabbed him, or in the belly. I think in one of the translations it says the belly, that he stabbed him in the belly. And you know, it's interesting what Chip said. Oh, my mom says the volume's low. Turn up the volume, Mom. So anyway, he stabbed him in the belly. And one thing about King Eglon, if I'm correct, Bill, he was a really fat guy, right? And so when he stabbed him in the belly, the Bible talks about how when he stabbed him in the belly, he had a foot-long dagger. Yeah, close, Eddie. But when he stabbed him in the belly, he was so fat, he had a foot-long dagger, and he lost it in the fat, like Chip said, and could not even pull the dagger back out because the fat swallowed it all up. So he left the dagger in him. So he stabbed him in the belly. And when he stabbed him in the belly, it says, if you go on to read, it says that he lost all his bowels, his intestines were emptied, and it was a pretty gross scene. Which leads me to my next question, which is question number 4. Bill said I was talking about this earlier. He said I have a violent streak in me with all my questions that I'm asking about this stuff. So this is going to end up being a true or false question, but let me read some of this to you. Ehud was alone with the king when he killed him in his private chambers. He shut the door behind him and snuck out. Now that's fact, okay? So here's the true or false part. True or false? King Eglon's, his servants did not come into his room for a long time because they thought he was relieving himself. They thought he was going to the bathroom because of the stench and smell that was coming out of the room from his bowels. Is that a true or false statement? They came to the room and they did not go in because they smelled some reek in the room and they thought he was going to the bathroom. And in that meantime, that's how Ehud escaped. Is that a true statement? I might be just making that up. It sounds kind of far-fetched. True or false? King Eglon's, and you can just take a guess at that. It doesn't matter. Chip says that's a true statement. Whitney says gross. True. Anybody else? Anybody? Hey guys, hit the share button on this. Randy says true. And I'm sure some of you are still, Donna says she doesn't want to know. Well, whatever you do, don't read Judges chapter 3, verse 24, because the statement is actually a true statement. Whenever he stabbed him, it made all his bowels release, his intestines emptied in the room, and the guys came to the door, and they thought that he was relieving himself. I think it says in something, whatever, so they went away. And so they didn't go in for a little while. So it actually is a true statement. You know, I learned all these Bible stories when I'm little, and these are the things I remember. I don't know. So I don't know. Instead of things like, obey your parents, those types of things, I remember that people get stabbed in the gut and relieve their bowels, not their vows. Okay, question number 5. We are doing Judges, by the way, if you're joining us. We're doing Judges in the Old Testament. And kind of what inspired this whole thing is whenever our Supreme Court Justice, I almost said Scalia, but not that, Ginsburg passed away the other day, and it inspired me to talk about the Old Testament judges. So question number 5 is, this one's kind of a tricky question in my opinion. What judge once killed 600 Philistines with an ox goad? I'll give you a multiple choice. Was it Samson or was it Shamgar? What judge once killed 600 Philistines with an ox goad? Was it Samson or was it Shamgar? What judge once killed 600 Philistines with an ox goad? Anybody have an answer while I drink a little sweet tea here? That was delicious. What judge once killed 600 Philistines with an ox goad? Was it Samson or was it Shamgar? Anybody with an answer? Anybody got an answer for me? Chip says Samson. Anybody else? Killed 600 Philistines with an ox goad. Was it Samson or was it Shamgar? Whitney says A, which is, that would be Samson, right? Randy says Shamgar. Anybody else? You can find this in Judges 3:31. Judges 3:31. That was question number 5, and I'll go ahead and I'll give you the answer here. The answer is Shamgar. Shamgar. He killed 600 Philistines with an ox goad, which is kind of like a cattle prod or something, right, Bill? Something along those lines where you kind of prod the cattle along. So, it's a farming instrument used to kind of goad livestock along. So question number 6, and why, there you go. Hey, she get a 50-50. She said Samson. Well, it was Shamgar. But question number 6, where I kind of tricked you on that one, was the judge Samson. The judge Samson killed 3,000 Philistine soldiers with the jawbone of what animal? There you go. The judge Samson, he killed 3,000 Philistine soldiers with the jawbone of what animal? Anybody know what the answer to that is? By the way, hit that share button. Share that out there. We're doing Judges of the Old Testament. And we had one of our Supreme Court justices pass away the other day, and that's kind of what inspired me to do the Judges of the Old Testament. So, anybody know when Samson killed 3,000 Philistine soldiers, he killed them with the jawbone of a certain animal? Does anybody know what animal that was? Anybody? If you, Randy says a donkey. Donna says a donkey. Chip says an ox. Bill's going Old Testament on me over here. King James Version. He's doing the King James Version over here. Anybody? Anybody? Hello, Louise. All right, when Samson killed 3,000 Philistine soldiers with the jawbone of an animal, that animal was a donkey. Or, if you're reading the King James Version, it was an ass. So, the Judge Samson killed 3,000 Philistine soldiers with the jawbone of an animal, which was a donkey. That was question number 6. And please hit that share button as we go to question number 7 here, Judges in the Old Testament in the Bible. And who was, and Judy said donkey. So, okay, question number 7. Who was the only female judge? I'm going to give you 2 people to choose from here. The only female judge in the Bible, was it Deborah or was it Ruth? Who was the only female judge in the Bible? Was it Deborah or was it Ruth? Anybody? Who was the only female judge in the Old Testament? Was it Deborah or was it Ruth? Louise says Deborah. Anybody else? Oh, somebody else said Deborah, and sometimes those don't come across my screen. Chip, no, sometimes some of the answers don't come across. Deborah. Louise says Deborah. There you go. She got it spelled right. There you go. Anybody else thinking Deborah, or was it Ruth? The only female judge. Hello, Adam. Question number 7, who was the only female judge? We're doing Judges of the Old Testament, inspired by the passing of our Supreme Court justice, who was a female justice. And who was the only female judge? Was it Deborah or Ruth? And everybody's saying Deborah. I really thought I was going to get somebody on that one, and you are all correct. It was Deborah. I was thinking if I put Ruth in there, somebody would take the bait and go with it, because Ruth, I think, follows Judges in the line in the Old Testament. I think it goes right from Judges into Ruth. And but you guys are correct. I didn't get you. It's Deborah. She was the only female judge. Question number 8. How many men did the judge Gideon take into battle with him when he was overwhelmingly outnumbered? This is a very popular story. Even a little song we used to sing when we were a kid, something like Gideon, Gideon, marching off to fight, Richard his left hand, Trump in his right. You ever sing that one, Bill? I don't ever think did that one. The Gideon song. How many soldiers, or how many men did he take with him? How many men did Gideon take into battle with him when he was overwhelmingly outnumbered? Chip says 300. Anybody else? Did anybody else know that song? Of course, I sang it really fast. It's like Gideon, Gideon, marching off to fight, pitcher in his left hand, trumpet in his right. Though it may seem foolish not to trust in the Lord, Gideon was no fool, for he trusted in the Lord. Does that sound any familiar to you, Bill? You're just too young. Bill's too young. He's never heard that song. 300. We have people saying 300. Anybody else? Chip and Louise say 300.
Gutter.
Who did? Who else?
Cindy Gutter.
Cindy said 300. Randy says 300. 300, 300, 300. How many men did Gideon take into battle with him when he was overwhelmingly outnumbered? And by the way, he won that battle. He started out, I think, with 22,000 men, and then God said, that's too many, and he weeded it down to maybe 12,000, and then Donna Kate said 301. Was that a typo, or do you think is Gideon the one? So you're saying Gideon was one of the guys? She got a thumbs up on that. So, well, Donna, you might be right, but the Bible actually says 300. So you are. If you said 300, you're correct. He took 300 minutes, and you can find that in the book of Judges, chapter 7, verse 8, I believe, is where you can find that. That was question number 8 of our trivia here of Judges in the Old Testament. And question number 9 out of 10 questions, and we're going to have a bonus question or a couple of things here. So question number 9. Okay. Bill and I were talking about this a little bit earlier today. There are some people who have some just bad behavior in the Bible, and we all have things in our life that we're not proud of, but God still can use us even if we have bad behavior. And this was something that was interesting. One of the judges, Judge, I think you pronounce his name Jephthah is how you pronounce his name. What was his mother's profession? What was Jephthah's mother's profession? This is one of these things where you can see where God can use people, and he has a plan for people no matter what their downfalls may be in life. What was the profession of Jephthah's mother? Does anybody know? It's one of the oldest professions.
Cindy Gutter. Prostitution.
Cindy Gutter said prostitution. For some reason, I'm not getting that on my screen, so I'm glad you told me. Yes, and Louise says that. So, yes. So Cindy was right. Louise, you are correct. She was a prostitute, and it's just kind of goes to show you that no matter what you have in your past, Chip says the same thing, prostitute, and that was his mother's profession, and she birthed one of the judges for the Israelite people that God used later to rescue them from some different things. God raised up judges to rescue his people from their enemies. So good job, guys. I wouldn't have gotten that one. So that was question number 9. Question number 10, and then we'll move to a bonus question here. Here you go. You guys ready? How many judges were there? How many judges were there? How many judges were there? And I'm glad that Bill actually told me this one, because I was going to ask this question and I wasn't sure how many there were, and then he confirmed it. How many judges were there? If nobody answers real soon, I'll give you a hint. A hint is, I think Randy says 12. Eddie says 6. And I'll still give you the hint that I was going to give you. There are as many judges as there were tribes in the Israelites. Is that correct, Bill?
Correct.
That those numbers are the same. Chip said a lot. Talking about Old Testament judges. Peggy got it? All right. Louise says 12. I'm not getting everybody's answers. That's one thing I'm kind of finding out. Chip says 12. Well, if you guys said the number 12, Donna says 12, and you are correct in answering 12. There were 12 judges in the Old Testament. and they spanned over probably centuries. If you go back and read the book of Judges, it talks about how they had a judge, and then everything was good for 80 years, and then the people turned away from God. Eddie said, I changed my mind, 12. So there were 12 judges, and that was question number 10. And we're going to move to some bonus questions here that you'll want to check out. Who was the left-handed judge? We know that one. Who was that, Bill? That was was Deborah the left-handed judge? Chip, you'll have to let me know. Was it Deborah, the left-handed judge? I do remember reading that somewhere. I think I read that today, and I can't remember how I. You'll have to tell me if I was right, if I'm correct, not right and left. Tell me if I'm correct, Chip. There was a left-handed judge, right? We'll have to ask Google later on if. Oh, it was Ehud. That's right, because we talked something about that when he stabbed him. Or something. I remember reading something about that, and it talked about how he put the knife, I think, on his right thigh or something. I can't remember how that went. That is a good one, Chip. I should have asked that one, and Randy got it. Good job, Randy. Man, I'm on the spot here trying to do trivia in front of an audience, man. That's tough. All right, here's the bonus question, all right? The bonus question for tonight is, and I hope I did the research right on this, what inspired this whole thing, and by the way, hit the share button. What inspired this whole trivia is that we had our one of our U.S. Supreme Court justices pass away the other day, and I thought, well, hey, let's do the Book of Judges. And so there's a wild animal coming through. Right there. He's going to have all kinds of bugs all over him. But anyway, so we did. So anyway, we had one of our Supreme Court justices pass away. So my question is, and I'll let Bill chime in on some of this too, how many U.S. female Supreme Court justices have there been in history? How many Supreme Court justices have there been in history that are female? I'm going to let Bill chime in on some percentages here in just a moment. As a matter of fact, I kind of just wrote some notes in there. But how many of the U.S. Supreme Court justices have been? Here we go. How many of them have been females? Bill and I got into a good conversation about this earlier. Donna says 1. Anybody else with a guess?
Cindy said not enough.
Not.
Wrong answer, Cindy.
Anybody else have a guess? And I think the answer I have here is correct. Randy says 4. And I know some of you are, Louise says 2. I think we had 2 on the bench just now. Chip says 4. The correct answer, I believe, is 4. And we had 2 serving just now until the one passed away. So there were 4. How many total Supreme Court justices have we had? Total, period. All of them, I think it started in 1789. How many have we had total? And then I'll let you kind of give those if you know what that means. Anybody? Hello, Amanda. Amanda Prettyman. Happy birthday to Stephen. My little brother. He's not littler than me. He's taller than me, and I'm probably better looking than he is. But I mean, he's taller. What do you think, Bill? Okay. Randy says 9. Well, we have 9 serving at a time, but how many have we? Isn't it 9 justices at a time typically? But how many? Chip says 113. And I'm guessing my answer is right, Chip, but it could be wrong. I wonder how many living Supreme Court justices we have that have served. That'd be an interesting one. I should have looked up. Well, the answer that I have is 114 Supreme Court justices since 1789.
And since they served till they died, there's probably not very many.
Oh, really? Yeah. So nobody's retired. I guess they just. No. All right. So we were. So go ahead. What were we going to say here about?
Hey, it's interesting that in the Old Testament, which is a man-dominated world, 12% of the judges chosen by God to lead Israel were women. And now we can put that in context in terms of the United States choosing their own judges. And what's that percentage, Michael?
It is 3%.
We're not doing so good, folks.
Nope, we're not doing it.
God chose more women than we do.
Yep, that's right. So, Donald Trump may have some people on him. He better choose another female justice here, if he or whoever ends up choosing that justice. So, I don't want to start a political debate on my trivia here.
Yeah,
so,
right.
We'll stay far away from that.
We'll stay away from that one.
Yeah. But anyway, thank y'all for joining tonight. And we're going to go eat some... Oh, there's some ants trying to get at my food here. So, but thank y'all for joining tonight for trivia. And next week, I don't know what we're going to do yet, but we'll be back for some trivia next week. And anything else we need to say here?
That's it.
I'm going to pray us out here, and then we'll get going. So let's pray. God, I thank you that we can come here tonight and that we can just dive into your word and just refresh our memories on some of the things that we learned maybe a long time ago, or it's things that we haven't read up on in a while. And we just thank you for the scriptures that you give us, and giving us something to look back on, maybe a blueprint even, as we move forward in history. But God, we thank you for the gift of salvation that we have through Jesus Christ. And God, we thank you for your love, and in return, God, we love you. And I speak on behalf of everyone listening when I say that. It's in Jesus' name we pray all these things. Amen.
Amen.
All right. Donna says we are behind. All right. See you guys. Bye.